Hey Tuskegee, it's another episode of Black Consciousness Today, and in studio we have the Honorable City Councilman from District 1, Chris Lee, and we have Mr. Joshua Anthony from the Circuit Clerk's office, and we have our host, Mr. Arthur Powell. Mr. Powell, take it away.
Thank you, brother producer. To all you members of the viewing audience out there, it's always good to come before you. We thank God for the opportunity. And we're hoping that those ears are beginning to open up and hear the message. We have with us today two young fellows, young voices. And I'm hoping that they can see the vision. You know, the vision starts in the mind. And it settles down in the heart and then it begins to fester up, you know. So the spirit of black country is a vision into the future. It helps us once we begin to sit at the table to understand our commonnesses. It also helps us discover the power we have within our African American black family with the form of unity. Once we begin to sit at the table, focus on solutions. Solution is the most important aspect of our life. Not what happened last night, but going forward. See, we can't change the past because history's already sealed. I woke up this morning, I opened the door for Brother Lee, let's say 5 minutes ago. That's history. So, you know, history is history. So we need to sit at the table, look forward. Just think within ourselves, what would it be like? We're not going to have a perfect world, but if we learn how to treat each other, a little kindness, a little humanity, a little respect, elders respecting the young, young respecting the elders, and focus on those solutions of power that we have. I also speak about an African American black family empowerment fund, where we invest from within ourselves, with ourselves. That's got economic empowerment. So that's into the future. And I spoke about the forum I would like to have, and January the 15th is a Monday. And if we can pull that off, I think that'll be a beautiful thing.
That'd be great.
Because that's the day that Martin came into the world, and he did great things during his lifespan.
That's right.
So looking at that, still looking into the future, because everything he did was futuristic. Wasn't about the present day, but changed over time. So you young brothers, I'm going to be leaving. So we need young blood to have an understanding of the power we have within our family and begin to present that, pass it down to the 3-year-old. So, Brother Anthony, he's a young minister. We need some of God's warriors out here. Prayer is good, but when you keep your prayer within those 4 walls, so we need energetic ministers, pastors that can see the future and the need for connecting our power with God's power, and we can go forth and conquer the world.
True.
That's my view.
True.
I would like to share your thoughts on it with that.
True. Well, simple. James tells us faith without works is dead. And so we can pray all day, but we got to put some work behind it. We can talk all day, but we got to put some work behind it. And until we as a people decide to get together and put some work behind it, we're not going to move forward. We're going to continue to stay in the past, or at least stay where we're at. So I'm in total agreement with the forum and moving forward to actually looking at what we can do as a community, especially as from my position being in the church and associated with the local churches around. What can we do together to bring about the unity in the community, the black family?
That's an important aspect, getting out among the people. And some of our ministers don't want to come to McDonald's. I said, wait a minute. Us sinners go to McDonald's. So we walk where they are. Yeah,
Right.
we kind of stumble in
right.
darkness. So you get on this light, bring it down, and maybe we'll create a change, but we need to see the light, the example. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So, regardless of your position, it has to be in your heart and mind to want that change, especially in reference to our young people. And you know you can't reach them sitting at home. You got to find out some way. If you just pass by one wherever you are,
Right.
have a word with you. So it's going to be that outreach, a continuous effort that shows. See, a lot of young people think we don't care because we don't talk to them. And a lot of young people that go to church, don't want to go to church because they're hypocrites. So we need you to come out and be that example, what I'm saying.
True.
Okay, then Brother Lee, he's a councilman.
Yes, sir.
There's very little he can do for the family from his council seat without the family.
That's very true.
But the most important aspect is he is a member of the family, and he's a young member of the family. So his influence is outside the council, to me, has more value than what he does at the council table. So we need Brother Lee to just come out, speak his piece, wherever he is.
Yes, sir.
And you can he'll bring about that change.
Oh, yeah.
So we count on you, and you can start anytime you want.
Okay, well, absolutely. I mean, you all both hit something right on the head. I think, we can talk about it all day, but we all have to be about it. And that's where it starts. Each one of us has in our hearts, I think, what it takes to make this community what all it can be. And I say it over and over, but it's very true. We have to create that existence, and we have to believe in it first before it ever becomes a reality in the world that we live in. So, we have to get rid of this negativity that's here. That's holding us back. It's not, outside forces. A lot of times it's the negative energy that's coming from within.
True.
So I think that's where we have to start. We have to start this conversation and these actions from within our own communities, within our own family household, community families, but within our own selves. And I think once we do that and we get that mindset change here, the possibilities are endless for the family and for the community.
True.
We have that power.
We do.
And we had the people came all the way from Brevard, Maine, and they want to have a relationship with black people because they have very few
Right.
in the area, so they really don't know them. Matter of fact, he was telling me how they had a meeting to try to have a conversation, but nobody knew how to talk about race,
Right.
because they didn't have that
They didn't have
kind of
anybody.
Right.
contact. You know what I'm saying? They
Yeah.
really don't know. But they travel all these miles, okay? And one of the brothers up there, he watches our Black Country show on the internet when he can. But that point was, they needed some hands-on experience, and his biggest regret was that he couldn't get outside of the regular routine that they had him in, because he wanted to meet just regular people, because that way you get a better feel.
Oh, yeah.
But they came all these miles, and I got to talk to some of them. I found a way.
Yeah, I'm glad they got a chance to really speak to real members of the community. Like you said, we're all members of the family, but they had events scheduled to meet with the council members and mayor and different officials. But I really think to get a true feel of Tuskegee in this community, you have to talk to the people. Talk to the people walking the streets, talk to the people in the barbershop, really get a feel of that experience. And, the fact that somebody came all the way down from Maine to get a feel of that means that we have something here that's very real and very valuable.
True.
Like you said, they might not have African Americans in their community. They might not really have some of those experiences by talking to people like us. They see the value in that. That's why they come all the way down there. So we need to see that same value. And that's really what I took from that experience. I thought it was a great exchange of culture, of ideas. Again, I think we can always learn from other people, and we can learn from ourselves. So I think, there are things that we can learn from them, and there are things that we can learn from us. And that doesn't always just mean race issues. There's things, you can learn something from any other person, whether it be a child, an adult. But we have to start really start doing that, I think. And you say it all the time, but that's really what the family is all about.
True. And we got to move as a community. You said it's a mindset. And we got to move to a position of correcting some of those wrongs that we've been thinking and been confused about for years. A lot of the issues inside of the church are traditional. because people are stuck in tradition, and so you don't want to move forward to really do the work that needs to be done. I say it's the same thing in the community. When you ask a lot of our generation or our classmates, you know, why don't you come back to Tuskegee? A lot of them will tell you, well, I don't come back because there's nothing here.
Nothing here.
Well, I thought that same way until I had a flip of a mindset, and I started to understand the entrepreneur mindset. Well, there's nothing here from an entrepreneur perspective, meaning everything is here.
Exactly. For an
And-
investor.
Correct.
That's right.
For anybody who's looking to come in and to put some seed in the ground and to grow in this community, and so when you're looking at when we're looking at Tuskegee, we have to begin to change that mindset.
That's right.
To change the mindset of letting people know that it is something here. This town is rich. This town is great. It can be great. No, it is, and it can be better once we all come together and do more about it. But it is great in what it is now. But it all starts with that mindset. We got to begin to reprogram our mind to really see the value that's in this town. And then once we see that, we can begin not only to see the value in the town, but we can begin to see the value in the community and the family, and that's a whole nother level.
And
Man.
each other.
That's a whole nother level. But we have to get there. We're going to look for change, because the change starts within.
That's right.
So unfortunately, most people look for a leader. You know, God sent somebody down special. I try to get people to understand, we put too much investment into a particular leader. And we do it from a family aspect. Families continue on.
That's right.
Leaders might leave you anytime. Now what do? Because you're depending on this leader to do all your work. So when you sit at the table, focus on your plan, put everything together, you go forth and you share that with your young people so they're catching on to it. They share that with the 3-year-olds. You're planting the seeds all along the way.
That's right.
So when one goes, everything is still intact. So we grieve for a moment that he's gone. Now if he was really magnificent, I use that little word, in adventure, now we don't want his effort to be lost. So we pick up the gunslinger, right? So when I talk about the economic investment fund, that's how we invest in ourselves. We
Exactly.
create business in the community.
That's right.
And if we have enough money and somebody wants to come in and create something that we can't afford to create, well, we got a few pennies now, we want to be a partner, we want to invest in it.
Oh, yes.
So we still have it. It's not necessarily about money. It's about the integrity, you know, that love, that compassion for one another. Eventually money will come,
Exactly.
okay? But if you have it in heart and mind to say we are a family, we shall no longer be dominated by a dead man's mindset.
That's right.
So we have the power to change that. We can renew our own hearts and minds. Because we understand what has been. That is our learning experience if we learn from that.
That's right.
The tragedy of the past, there's a message in it. The power we have today is to keep those tragedies from reoccurring.
That's right.
Like Rose talking about when this family came from Ireland, when the British had them under control. A whole bunch of them starved, a whole bunch of them went to jail because the British was in control. So that was a hardship experience for his family. And when he came to America, now you're reading the pages of history, they were called niggers too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, all other people who come here, regardless of the condition, have been able to come together and begin to do things within themselves, empower themselves. And they became so powerful that the system said, okay, you know, we can't kill all of you, so, you know, we're going to give you some space. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
So all we want to do is take care of our family.
True.
And once we begin to do that, you'll be surprised how many of the other people who are on the lower level will come to us. And we all go forth.
Oh, yeah.
We God's most precious gift to humanity. We
Absolutely.
got that power. If we do it, if you think I'm lying, let's work at it for 20 years.
That's right.
And then you come down to my grave and tell me what the results are. And we'll be beautiful.
That's right.
This is what it's all about. I told them in a little note I passed them, you have to consider the garden of humanity as like a flower garden. You have different shape, different sizes, different colors, mixed colors. You have the trees, you have flowers, they have fruits, all different sorts. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But they all come from one source.
Right.
Huh?
That's right.
So I'm trying to say, when you look, as we said, within yourselves, how you treat each other there in Berwick, you're going to find some answers. And it's going to cause you to make a whole different change toward other people. Because pain and suffering is pain and suffering. You don't like what happened to your forefathers on that island, the pain and stuff we went through, that's a learning lesson.
So don't do those same things.
It opens your eyes.
Correct.
You don't live by other people.
Can one of my soapboxes, and I won't stay on it long, I promise you, but you was mentioning about the economic
Yeah.
and investing. From an accounting background, that's what I got my degree in, that's what I've been doing work-wise the last 10 years. So from an accounting background, I see something that's appalling. It's amazing to me that the generation that don't know how to fill out a check or don't know how to fill out a money order or don't understand the power of their money, period.
Mm-hmm.
And in order for us to even get to a point to where we're looking at investing, I'm sure there's a level of our culture who's at that point now. But to get that family and the grassroots level of us understanding how powerful our money is, it's going to be first to understand that dollar has power behind it.
It does.
That's right.
And if you keep the dollar in the black community, then the black community can survive and can thrive off that dollar versus taking that dollar outside of the black community.
Right.
You understand the difference between interest and paying cash. We are a people and we push only what they've been taught us, but we push, interest and credit and the whole 9 yards. Not understanding that $200,000 house that you're going to buy after interest is paid on it for 30 years, you paid $190,000 worth of interest on that house. And when you get ready to resell it, you're not going to be able to sell it for the $390,000 that you're losing. You're losing. We got to educate the family on topics like interest, on topics like balancing your checkbook, on topics like don't just go out and spend it, but know where you're spending it, how you're spending it, and the return you're going to get back on what you're spending it on. How to budget, how to organize your finances. That's going to be on a grassroots level, how we begin to bring consciousness to our people about how finances. And I bring up finance because that's one of the bigger issues. We can't move unless we have some finances to work.
We must have.
Period.
Oh, yeah.
We must
And
have.
so we got to begin to learn how to control that dollar, control that spending power, and understand that that's where the power is. As long as they know that we're going to shop at their stores, buy their brands, and use their services,
We have
That's right.
it doesn't matter.
I think that's part of the problem in our community. A lot of times we worship money. We look at it as something high in the sky, and that piece of paper is really the goal, and that's all we're after. That's the final goal. But we first have to realize that money is nothing more than a tool. That's what it is. And that's how we look at it. You take that tool and you build whatever you need to build.
Correct.
We need to build in this community. So guess what we need? We need money.
invest.
So we have to invest.
Correct.
But when everybody has an individualistic mindset of I need to compete and be better than the next, and worship money, then you worship things, then as a community we're not getting anywhere. And that individualism is holding us back, I think, a lot. We need to go to a more groupism mindset for sure here.
Right? That's why I speak about family.
Right.
Family includes all individuals,
Right.
but we have to change some of our individual self-centeredness. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
And
yeah.
the thing you're speaking about, understanding the finances, that's what I talk about going throughout the county. We take people who understand finances. We have some here that's willing to share. But we always incorporate our young people,
That's
you know what I'm
right.
saying? But we do this throughout the county so the message gets
That's
spread
right.
across.
Correct.
That's how we would work up. And also
Oh,
getting
yeah.
people to understand why they should put $10 a month into
That's
the
right.
fund.
Correct.
Yeah.
And we're doing all the groundwork, putting everything in place, making it secure as we possibly can. But we need people to understand.
That's
People say,
right.
well, why don't you set up a nonprofit? I said, I could, but what good would it be? I can't run around the park with myself, not
The
legally.
goal is to get to the people.
Not legally.
That's what
So
the
I
goal
need
is.
people to understand the concept of a nonprofit, what it takes.
right.
personal property too. So we need people to make it work. And once we start, as you say, it takes a little time.
That's right.
But sowing the seeds is what I'm talking about mainly, till we get to that point. But we have to take it throughout the county. The old church, whoever church we can, small groups, large groups, on a routine basis. And bringing some of our younger
That's
our
right.
younger people.
That's right. I mean, we have to start getting that message out.
Yeah.
We have to start people know the importance of investing. And people think of investing, they always think Wall Street and stocks.
Stock market, right.
But you have to change. Investing is anything that you put your time and energy to that over time you can accumulate and you can have more in the future than you have now.
Correct.
So you can invest, if every month buy an extra case of water, one day if there's an emergency you might have a whole house full of water ready when there's nowhere else. That's investing. It's the
And
same
you can
thing.
share with your
And you can
neighbors.
share with your neighbors and your family. It's the same thing with money. It's the same thing with putting money away. Make a sacrifice now, and one day, in interest and everything else, you're gonna have money for future generations and create generational wealth. And that's what we gotta focus on, generational wealth, because a lot of the problems that we're having is because when one generation is gone, there's nothing to really pass on. And there's plenty of traditions and there's plenty of things that we learn, but we have to do like so many other communities do. We have to pass that dollar down to the next. And that's my main focus. I mean, again, it's nothing wrong with everybody individually making that money. That's what we all should be doing. But, have in mind what you're really making that money for. And for me, when I have my businesses and everything, Tuskegee and investing in this community is always in the back of my mind. It might not be, right now today, everybody might want to see, well, what are you doing? But, you just got to let God's plan unveil itself, and you have to work to continuously, see what that plan
brings
is.
on the long-term mindset, which is as a people we don't have.
That's right.
We're looking for the short-term goal. Give me the short-term win.
That's right.
Versus the long-term success. And we miss it every time. When you talk about putting $5 or $10 away, man, you understood the compound interest on $10 every week or every
30
month.
years from now.
Correct.
Look at Amazon stock and, Facebook, and I even look at it as 10, 20
Facebook
years
is
ago.
amazing, correct.
Man, I mean,
correct.
And everybody always says, I wish I would have gone back and put $10. Well, think about your kids, your grandkids. I don't have any kids yet, but, when I make investment decisions, I'm thinking about future generations. I'm thinking about those kids that, I see every day in our community, and once they get that mindset, the same one that, it might have taken me longer than it'll take them because they have somebody to instill that in them in an early age. And that has to be the goal of what we're trying to do here, going around the community, get to the people so they can really, change. Change comes in a lot of ways, but again, we have to change. It has to come from within.
You have to be moving. You got to be moving for change. Change is not always easy, but it's necessary. And as long as you're moving forward, you can get the change. But as long as we keep looking back, we'll never hit change.
Oh yeah.
So long as we continue to move forward, man, we'll reach the goal that we're looking for, as you say, 20 years from now, 30 years from now, we can reach that in whatever platform it is that we're looking to reach it in. But we got to be willing to be committed to it, stick to it, and actually go to work. Not just be for the show, but actually go to work. And ministry, I believe in mission work. I do mission work and teaching. Those are my biggest platforms. Why? Because I need my people to understand, not just come on a Sunday service to hear a good word and then go home, but I need you to understand what you just heard so you can go back home and apply it to your situation.
That's right.
And share it.
And then the next step is mission. Go out and witness to somebody. Go out and help somebody. Go out and serve somebody. And until we as a church perspective, until we reach that point as a church, there's no reason. I'm on my soapbox, y'all forgive me, but there's no reason to have 130-something churches in Macon County and you got poor people on the street. You got hungry people on the street. There's no reason for that.
That's not a part of God's plan.
No, it's not a part of God's plan.
Everything we're talking about from the concept we're focusing at is God's plan.
That's right.
But we have to allow God to be a part of the plan and follow His plan.
Correct.
Because He put everything here for everybody. Okay? Everyone is not going to have the same.
Correct.
We need to understand everyone's not going to have the same. But a rich man will never have too much. And a poor man can always have enough. Because the rich
That's
man
deep.
don't share with the poor man. Because it's about carry and share.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
You got more than you can use. My aunt had 13 children, 10 girls and 3 boys.
That's right there.
And you listen to her sometimes, you know, they weren't making a lot of money. But I said, well, sometime a neighbor come by and say, well, Sister Lois, I cooked too much food to see we had something left over. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's looking out for the family.
And sharing, you know. And
No.
many of her neighbors would do that.
That's right.
At different
And-
times because they knew she had those 13 children.
Literally.
But now how many of us got food in our freezer that go to waste because it just sits in there?
Well, this is what I'm trying to say. When we begin to love it and carry, we begin to share. As I say, the rich man will never have too much. The poor man will never go lacking. They come from human compassion for one another.
Right.
Realizing that's my neighbor, that's my brother, that's my cousin. Anyway, we all created in God's image, so when I look at him, I see me. You know, because that's my love for my fellow man. And it's my love for myself.
That's right.
See? So things begin to jail. Just I need more young ministers and young brothers who can put this thing in kind of common language. See, I'm not about beating people over the head with Jesus Christ and God Almighty.
Right.
Because I had time, I seen so much and heard so much. I refuse to use the name of Jesus sometimes. But I had to get my own understanding, you know. But it gets abused. But when you come out, just do it from the heart.
That's right.
No matter who he or she, or what he or she looks like. You do it from the heart. That's the power of God's love
That's right.
for us. So we need to show the same love for one another within our African American black family.
That's right.
So we have the power to change the world.
Correct. Correct.
And as we reach the end of another episode of Black Consciousness Today, we have time flies when we have these wonderful conversations like this. It seems like we just got started. But we invite the viewing audience to use that email on your screen right now, TuskegeeVirtual@gmail.com. Give us some feedback. Let us know how you feel about what you're hearing on the show. Every day, 12 o'clock noon, 12 o'clock midnight. Black Consciousness Today. We're putting a bookmark on this conversation, and we will see you again next week. Thanks, guys.